Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel approves moves to expand its powers in occupied West Bank. UN, US and the UK call on Israel to reverse its unlawful decision. Prime Minister Modi and Mauritius Prime Minister Naveen Chandra Ramagulam hold telephonic conversation. Both leaders review progress in wide-ranging bilateral cooperation and reaffirm India-Mauritius commitment to peace and stability in the Indian Ocean region. Landmark social media trial begins in Los Angeles to test whether big tech platforms can be held liable for their app designed to addict children. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup, Pakistan ends the boycott, confirms match against India on February 15th. Israel has approved plans to help settlers acquire land in the West Bank and widen its powers in parts of the territory where Palestinians have some self-rule. It was announced by Israel's Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and Defense Minister Israel Katz after being approved by the Security Cabinet. It was unclear whether the new rules would take effect, but they do not require further approval. The West Bank, which Israel had occupied since 1967, would perform the largest part of any future Palestinian state.
Which has been on the books since before 1967, but has been strengthened since 1967, prohibits the sale of any land to Jews, which is something very discriminatory by any standard in any society.
The Israeli measures also envisage transferring authority over building permits for settlements in the Palestinian city of Hebron, the West Bank's largest, from the Palestinian Authority to Israel. In addition, the reform strengthens Israeli control over the major two religious sites in the southern West Bank, that is Reshal's tomb near Bethlehem and the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron.
Well, it's been repealed for years in the rest of the West Bank, but only with respect to the Jewish part of Hebron, which is a tiny percentage. It didn't repeal the law. The law still exists. Israel has not got sovereign powers to repeal Jordanian law, but in the areas under Israel's control and administration, it can repeal the implementation of Jordanian law, which is considered to be offensive, anti-Semitic and anti-Israel.
International outrage is growing at Israeli plans to tighten the country's grip over West Bank. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said that UN Chief Guterres warned that the current trajectory on the ground is eroding the prospects for the two-state solution.
Such actions, including Israel's continuing presence in the occupied Palestinian territory, are not only destabilizing, but, as recalled by the International Court of Justice, unlawful. The Secretary General calls on Israel to reverse these measures and all parties to preserve the only path to lasting peace, which is a negotiated settlement for a two-state solution in line with relevant Security Council resolutions and international.
United States is the latest country to call on Israel to reverse its decision to expand control over the West Bank. A White House official reiterated U.S. President Trump's opposition towards Israel's plan for the West Bank. Officials said a stable West Bank keeps Israel secure and is in line with this administration's goal to achieve peace in the region. United Kingdom and Spain also joined the rising chorus of condemnation. UK said that any unilateral attempt to alter the geographic or demographic makeup of Palestine is wholly unacceptable and would be inconsistent with the international law. Last year, the United Kingdom announced that it was imposing additional sanctions on illegal Israeli settler outposts in the occupied West Bank. Earlier, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and the United Arab Emirates-led regional states denounced the decisions as a violation of international law that would undermine the vision of a two-state solution as well as stability in the region. They said that the moves meant to entrench Israeli settlement of the West Bank, displacing Palestinians and imposing unlawful Israeli sovereignty there. Jordan, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates and Turkey all have diplomatic relations with Israel. Saudi Arabia has said that it will not establish such relations until the formation of a Palestinian state. Meanwhile, dozens of Palestinians returned to the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis on Tuesday after spending months in Egypt, separated from their families. Most had traveled to Egypt for medical treatment and were able to come home after the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza partially reopened. Rafah is the only crossing for nearly all of Gaza's more than 2 million residents. Its limited reopening last week marked a key step in a US-backed initiative announced by President Donald Trump aimed at ending the Israel-Hamas conflict. US lawmakers reviewing unredicated Epstein files say that key names were removed from public records. Ghislaine Maxwell has refused to testify unless granted clemency by President Trump. In the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer faces pressure over appointing Peter Mandelson as US ambassador despite his past Epstein links, but has ruled out resigning. We get to the details in this report.
The Epstein Files Transparency Act, passed by Congress in November, compelled the Justice Department to release Epstein files. It requires the redaction of the names or personal identifying information about Epstein's victims, but said no records could be withheld on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm or political sensitivity. US lawmakers who reviewed the unredacted files expressed concern that some names have been removed from the records for no apparent reason.
Our bigger concern is that there's still a lot that's redacted. Even in what we're seeing redacted versions. I thought we were supposed to see the unredacted versions, and that's because the documents produced to justice from the FBI, from the grand jury, was redacted when they got it. So we kept doing the searches for the unredacted information. It's the identical redactions that they have. Now, I don't think that's nefarious on the career attorneys that were reviewing it, but they obviously haven't gotten the production because our law says that the FBI and the original grand jury needs to be unredacted.
But what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find them. I would like to give the DOJ a chance to say they made a mistake and over-redacted and let them unredact those men's names. That would probably be the best way to do it.
Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's former girlfriend, and she was convicted in 2021 of sex trafficking underage girls to the financier and is serving a 20-year prison sentence. On Monday, she testified from prison to Congress but refused to answer any questions after her representative, David Marcus, advised her to invoke the Fifth Amendment to not incriminate herself.
On my advice, Ghislaine Maxwell will respectfully invoke her Fifth Amendment right to silence and decline to answer questions today, even though she would very much like to answer your questions. She must remain silent because Ms. Maxwell has a habeas petition currently pending that demonstrates her conviction rests on a fundamentally unfair trial.
Maxwell has sought clemency from President Donald Trump before testimony, adding that Trump and former President Bill Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing.
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Maxwell was subpoenaed to testify virtually from the Texas prison where she's serving her sentence. The Justice Department has said no new prosecutions are expected, but a number of political and business leaders have already been tarnished by scandal or resigned after their ties with Epstein were revealed in the files. Bureau Report, DD India.
A social media trial in Los Angeles began on Monday with accusations that Meta platforms and YouTube knowingly designed their apps to be addictive for children. A lawyer for a 20-year-old woman, identified as Kelly GM, told jurors that she became hooked on social media at a young age due to deliberate product design choices. Kelly is suing Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, and Google, which owns YouTube. Her lawyer, Mark Lanier, argued that internal company documents reveal the firms intentionally built systems meant to exploit young developing brains. Both Meta and YouTube have denied the claims. A verdict against the companies could pave the way for similar lawsuits and weaken big tech's long-standing legal defenses. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify, and the trial may continue into March. Concerns over the children's online safety have also put gaming platform Roblox under scrutiny in Australia, with authorities seeking clarity on its safeguards. The country's communications minister has written to Roblox, urging its leadership to explain what steps are being taken to protect children on the platform. Roblox has long faced criticism over exposure to violent and sexual content, with under 13 users making up about 40% of its user base. The company has said it plans to introduce facial recognition or ID checks for chat access. While Roblox is exempt from Australia's under-16 social media ban, it has been banned in countries such as Qatar and Iraq and has faced legal action in US states including Texas and Louisiana over child safety concerns. Official results confirmed on Tuesday that Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party secured 315 seats in the weekend snap elections, achieving a two-thirds majority. The outcome is the LDP's best in its history and allows Japan's first woman Prime Minister to stamp her mark on the country of 123 million people over the next 4 years. The LDP's coalition partner, the Japan Innovation Party, won 36 seats, giving the ruling bloc 351 lawmakers in the 465-member lower house. The election also saw the anti-immigration Sansieto Party increase its tally to 15 seats from 2. The new centrist Reform Alliance of the main opposition Constitutional Democratic Party and LDP's previous partner Komeito suffered a disaster, with their tally collapsing to 49 from 167. Having a two-thirds majority enables the government to override decisions by the upper house, where the coalition is in a minority. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Bangladesh enters pre-poll silence as campaigning ends amid tight security. India commences first BRICS Sherpa meeting in New Delhi, sets people-centric humanity-first agenda.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Campaigning for Bangladesh's 13th Jatiya Sansad, or the National Parliament election, and the accompanying referendum ended at 7 a.m. IST today, ushering in the mandatory 48-hour silence period ahead of voting on 12th of February. The final phase comes amid tightening restrictions, heightened security and fresh survey projections. A public opinion survey forecasts a decisive lead for the BNP-led alliance, projecting around 208 seats. The Jamaat-e-Islami-led alliance is estimated to secure 46 seats, the Jatiya Party 3, other parties 4 and independents 17. Security has been significantly tightened nationwide, with the Bangladesh Army and other forces placed on special operational alert until 14th February. Around 900,000 personnel will be deployed and 1,051 executive magistrates have been assigned to run mobile courts. The first BRICS Sherpa meeting commenced on Monday in New Delhi. Secretary Economic Relations and India's BRICS Sherpa, Sudhakar Dalela, highlighted key priorities of India's championship based on Prime Minister's vision for people-centric and humanity-first approach for the BRICS. He stressed that the priorities are also based on the overall theme of building for resilience, innovation, cooperation and sustainability. BRICS Sherpas are a select group of leaders representing their countries within the BRICS bloc. The role of a Sherpa is that of being the main channel for communication amongst the BRICS nations. BRICS brings together 11 major emerging markets and developing countries of the world, that is Brazil, China, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, United Arab Emirates. It serves as a useful platform for consultation and cooperation on contemporary issues having global as well as regional significance and issues of global political and economic governance. India plans to maintain multiple sources of energy supply and diversify them when needed. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri made this clear while replying to a question during a press conference on Monday. He said that India believes in safeguarding the interests of its consumers through reliable suppliers.
Key drivers of our energy policy are adequate availability, fair pricing, and reliability of supply. So if you look at the data, and I'm sure you're looking at the data on a constant basis, you will see that we import crude oil from dozens of countries. We are neither dependent on any single source for this, nor do we intend to be. And it is natural for the mix of sources to vary from time to time, depending on objective market conditions. What I can firmly and confidently say that whether it is the government or indeed our business, at the end of the day, national interests will be the guiding factor for us in our choices.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke with his Mauritian counterpart, Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramagulam. Taking to social media platform X, Prime Minister posted, and I quote him, "Happy to receive a phone call from my friend Prime Minister Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramagulam. We reviewed progress in the wide-ranging cooperation between India and Mauritius since our memorable meeting in Varanasi last year. Reaffirmed our commitment to further strengthen the special, historic and people-centric ties that unite our two nations. India and Mauritius will continue to work together to achieve shared objectives of peace and stability in the Indian Ocean region. I look forward to welcoming him to India for the AI Impact Summit next week." The Government of India is steadily integrating artificial intelligence into the country's education system. Through focused policies, institutional support and sustained initiatives, efforts are being made to prepare students for a technology-driven future. AI is becoming an important tool for learning and innovation. Let's take a look at India's progress in AI-powered education.
Education in India is undergoing a significant transformation. From traditional teaching methods to digital learning platforms, classrooms across the country are adopting modern technologies. Under the guidance of Ministry of Education, systematic efforts are being made to integrate artificial intelligence into school and higher education systems. The focus is on improving learning outcomes, encouraging innovation, and enhancing digital literacy. Artificial intelligence has been introduced as a subject in many schools. Students are being trained in basic coding, data analysis, and problem-solving skills. This early exposure helps develop logical thinking and technological awareness from young age. It also prepares students for emerging career opportunities in the digital sector. At the higher education level, the government is strengthening universities and research institutions. Support is being provided for academic research, digital libraries, and advanced laboratories. Special centers of excellence in artificial intelligence are being established across the country. To support digital education, emphasis is being laid on strengthening technological infrastructure. Data centers and cloud services are being encouraged through policy initiatives. Artificial intelligence has also been integrated into skill development programs. Through vocational training and digital platforms, the government's initiatives under AI in education are helping to bridge the gap between education and employment. Centers of excellence develop AI-based learning tools, smart classrooms, and personalized education systems. PM One Nation, One subscription provides students and researchers access to global digital academic resources. PM Research Chair Scheme promotes advanced research in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. National Mission on Education through ICT strengthens digital infrastructure and online learning platforms in higher education. AI in school curriculum introduces artificial intelligence at the secondary level to build digital literacy. National Artificial Intelligence Program encourages responsible and inclusive use of AI for education and social development.
With focused initiatives, the Government of India is strengthening AI in education. These efforts are for shaping skilled and future-ready generation. This is a decisive step towards making a knowledge-driven India. With camera person Sunny Kalra, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
Let's get to sports updates. The Pakistan Cricket Board has taken a U-turn on its boycott of the February 15th T20 World Cup match against India in Colombo. The board and ICC late on Monday night confirmed the same, saying the government of Pakistan has decided to end their boycott. The two neighbours were supposed to play their group stage match in Sri Lanka. However, Pakistan announced their decision to boycott the match in Colombo after the ICC last month replaced Bangladesh with Scotland in the tournament, following Bangladesh's refusal to travel to co-hosts India. Backdoor negotiations, calls and meetings followed, culminating in the ICC officials' arrival in Pakistan last weekend. The ICC and the Pakistan Cricket Board are understood to have initiated formal discussions on February 7th about the reversal of the boycott. This came a day after the Sri Lankan Cricket Board urged its Pakistani counterpart to reconsider its decision, citing significant financial losses for all parties involved. The latest meeting between the global body said that, in fact, between the global body and the two South Asian boards resulted in an agreement to go ahead with the game as scheduled. To mark the Indian national song Vande Mataram's 150th year celebrations, a 6,500 kilometers long cyclathon by the Central Industrial Security Force started from West Bengal. The cyclathon entered Andhra Pradesh on the 6th of February and was accorded a warm welcome at the famous Arsavali Sun Temple in Srikakulam. Srikakulam is the district with the longest coastline in India. During the next few days, the cyclathon passed through various places in the state, including Kakinada, The cyclathon passed through various places in the state, including Kakinada, Machilipatnam and Chirala. The rally will complete Andhra Pradesh leg on 11th and will conclude in Kochi on 22nd of February. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.